Three brave amigos are we. Brothers.
Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. It's your business to have a good time every once in a while, and certainly on a Friday, you ought to be enjoying yourself. And that's why we're glad to have this segment with Sigmund Kramer and Dan Shedd, intern extraordinaire, and your host, Kevin Price. We're going to talk a little bit about whatever strange headline, whatever weird story Dan Shedd was able to find. Dan, welcome as always. What do you got for us?
Well, I have a new article featured on the Huffington Post saying that an open office space, an open, non-closed office space may not be the best choice because it sabotages your workday.
Okay. Well, that's boring. What was the humor in this? Help us out. You may just have a much quicker sense of humor than me.
Well, I just thought it was interesting. Or we could talk about butter and cheese not being bad for you.
I've said that for years.
Yeah, cholesterol, they're coming out with more studies showing maybe the cholesterol numbers just really aren't that big a deal because 80% of your cholesterol makeup is genetic and not from what you eat. Only 20% is from what you eat, so is it really that important to follow these really strict cholesterol guidelines that the FDA had for us for so long?
Yeah, why would your body be intuitively injuring itself? You know what I'm saying? With you're saying that 80% of it is stuff that happens naturally, it has nothing to do with diet.
Well, but you can have high cholesterol, and that can lead to heart disease and other factors. The point is, it's not necessarily because of what you eat; it's because of your genetic makeup, and there's very little that you can do by changing your diet to actually counter that.
Right, but isn't that saying that your body's doing it anyway, or?
But it's not necessarily a good thing for your body.
Right, but now they're saying it may not necessarily be a bad.
No,
and I'll tell you right now, the synthetic stuff that you're putting in your body
the
in
chemicals,
lieu of butter
yeah,
has got to be worse than the butter itself.
It's going to hurt. I think it's going to hurt. I can't believe it's not butter makers and things like that more than anyone, like Unilever, more than anyone else. But no, it's not. It's not that your body's not doing something bad for you, because it is. If you've got high cholesterol and it's genetic, well,
yeah.
See, but
kind of like being diabetic or
But what I'm saying is you're
predisposed.
But what I'm saying is your genes are more of the factor, fourfold more of the factor than your diet, and so don't worry about if you're eating a double cheeseburger that that you should be eating nothing but salad, because chances are most of it is from your genes, not from your diet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now you
See,
may,
I always
you
thought
may still die.
I always thought it was from that tank top. You're telling me it's from the jeans.
Right.
Good
It's
to
not.
know.
It's from the muffin top, not the tank top.
There you go. Yeah. What do you think about that first story you talked about? The open. To me, that's so obvious.
Well,
Isn't
first
that
of all,
obvious?
I actually posted that on Facebook weeks ago or a couple months ago.
So you and him think so much alike.
That about that study. No, because look, everybody had been going to this open office is the way to go. Everybody needs to have cubicles, but it needs to be, more open design. And, Google did it and so many other companies did it. And then they found out, it kind of sucks not having any privacy. I can't carry on a conversation without everyone else in the office knowing about it. Whatever I'm looking at on the internet or on the computer in general, everybody else has access to seeing it. There's no privacy, and so it sets up this kind of anxious, nervous situation where you're never at ease.
Mm-hmm.
And
kind of like being at home.
I guess that's...
Just joking, honey. I love my wife and I love my kids.
Dan, how is it at your home? Is it anxious, making anxiety inducing?
No, not really. I just, hang out with my dogs and, we just chill out. And so it's very chill, but I can understand why.
You're just chillaxing.
What do you say?
Chillaxing.
You're just chillaxing.
Yeah.
Yes. I can totally see why, they say that open offices aren't the best I mean, I don't really work. I mean, I'm not in a job where I work in an office from 9 to 5, but the experience that I can tell you about is, you know, when I was in school, when I would try to take tests in a classroom setting, I felt myself getting more distracted and anxious than when I was in an environment where I could really just sit down, hunker down, and focus on the exam without the distractions and without the anxiety.
So they sent you back down to the basement.
Not really, but, you know, yeah.
Yeah, basically.
It's like in Pulp Fiction, you know, the Gimp. And never mind.
Oh, no. Don't go there. Don't go there. Yeah, well, you know, I've always said for years I never understood that whole phenomenon. I've always thought it was overly distracting. I think people need an opportunity to work. I also think, you know, if we ever get smart and get sophisticated enough, we could have a situation where, you know, we all have different personality types. You know, as an intern for me, I had you take a personality test, you know, and you saw that you have a specific type of personality. Some, you know, if you're an introvert and you're in an environment where you're forced to have, you know, that open environment, that's probably very disruptive for the way you garner the energy necessary for you to work. You know, meanwhile, if you're an extrovert, that kind of environment might work perfectly for you.
Yeah, well, like I was saying about my, you know, test taking and, you know, with my learning disability, you know, I need structure, and I can't really focus on, you know, what my task at hand if I have a lot of stuff going around me.
Mm-hmm.
So
are you ADD or ADHD?
No. I just have what they call dyscalculia, which is a math-based learning disability.
Ah.
But it's basically dyslexia with numbers. Mm-hmm. But with a lot of stuff going on all at once, I found myself being anxious about, like, oh my God, I got to get this thing done. Whereas when I was in an environment where I could really focus, I was like, okay, I could take my time and do much better on exams.
All right, Simeon Kramer is using sign language again, which means it's time to leave. He's got that finger up. And so
I'd like to say one thing, though.
Yeah.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Don't forget to take your loved one to go see 50 Shades of Grey, the ultimate romantic film.
Yeah, that's a romance film?
It's not at all. It's not at all. I'm just kidding. I'm going to take my wife to see The Kingsman.
I can't wait to see it. Is that this weekend?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's where I'll be taking my wife,
there you
too.
Go.
And that'll be my Valentine's Day opportunity. Do you want to mention also on the way out as we end the show, we want to thank our friends at Efficient Wealth Management and Chris Kidd Enterprise for bringing us part of today's program. And we look forward to giving you more right after this break, right here on The Price of Business.